because the primary responsibility of any government, security of lives and property, as well as the welfare of the citizens. So I'd like to do a follow-up. Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, you talked about the architecture of Amotekun and how much work it is doing. But I want you to take a look at the peculiar issues in Ondo State. And I give you an example. If you go to Akoko area of Ondo State, you will discover that kidnapping is prevalent. Now, how do you intend to, even though kidnapping is a general issue, but how do you intend to deal with the peculiarities of insecurity in Ondo State? And I also want you to answer the question of community policing, your understanding of community policing and how you intend to work with the community policing structure.
Thank you. Let me start from the issue of community policing, because that's the last question, but I'll start with that and end up with the other question. Now, on the issue of community policing, I can assure you that we are in support. Ondo State government is in support of community policing. And in fact, all of us in Southwest were in support. And let me even go wider. All of us governors, because under the aegis of Nigerian Governors Forum, we have sat, we met and discussed. We are fully in support of community policing. It's a welcome idea. It is a welcome idea because they have gone ahead to recruit people within communities where they will work. This is what we have been clamoring for. Some of us have argued that point, that even deploy policemen to serve in their area of locality, or if you are from Ondo State, serve in Ondo State. That has been our own position. But now, let me look at the peculiar situation we have. Kidnapping is not only in the north. They kidnap on our axis. They kidnap everywhere. But there's a case we are trying to nip in the bud. And I can assure you, Amotekun cannot do it alone. Where we have had incidents of kidnapping, there have been joint efforts by the police, Amotekun, the soldiers, to at least unravel or foil where there's an attempt. Now, what has happened is that Amotekun takes one aspect of it more serious. It's all the aspects are serious. So that when kidnappers move into the forest, it's Amotekun that follows them. They know all the paths you can walk in the forest. That's why when my brother mentioned about competence, with all respect to you, might not be issue of education alone. So we have recruited people in Amotekun who are competent hunters. We have recruited people who have competence in other fields, at least in locating all these people who know all those paths in the bush. And that has worked well for us. We have one of the problems we have is with these herdsmen that we run into problems who come destroy our crops. So what has happened? Amotekun has in a number of situations arrested some of those herds. And those herds have come and with Michiala and herdsmen in all the cases have had to pay compensation to the farmers before they release their herds to them. So Amotekun has a way of doing things, and we don't have to reveal it here, but those whose heads have been harnessed or carried away when they destroy crop of plantation will tell you that clearly Amotekun has been effective, and those farmers will tell you and praise Amotekun for their efforts, at least for ensuring that they got compensation for the crops they destroyed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fasho, I also like to ask you a follow-up question. You talked about being the first black man to set up a security outfit in Michigan, in New York.
I have little thing to say about the community police before you come on that one.
Please go on. But you can do that for just 1 minute. 1 minute. Go on, please. We'd like to apologize that
Thank you. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, Mr. Fashua, go on.
Okay, sir.
You're going to say something about community.
Yeah, please. What I want to say is that the issue to me personally is my personal feeling. The issue of community policing is political to me. It is an attempt or effort from up over there to crouch down the effectiveness and the performance of the Amotekun. So I will just appeal to the governor, the governors of all this our area that owns Amotekun. They must not give up. Rather, they must kill the fire of Amotekun. Let Amotekun, excel higher, so that the community police will not kill the effect.
Okay, so let me quickly go to the other question I was going to ask you. First black man to set up a security outfit in New York, in Michigan, and all of that. Now, how are you going to use that to deal with the insecurity issues? I mean, your experience from that. You have not told me how you're going to use your experience from that endeavor to deal with the insecurity challenges, the peculiar insecurity challenges around here.
Thank you. You see, when you compare the past and now, the rate of insecurity in this our beloved state before was kind of higher than now. In America, things work well. You pick up your phone, you call a police officer, right there is there at your doorstep. But here before in the past, where there is no construction of road is an access, a great access to solve or to settle security problem. So I make reference to the road construction that this present government set up. Is a plus, and it's going to easy the way we can tackle security problem in Ondo State. Very simple. And comparing the Amotekun, the police we have, all those joint forces, if we put them to work, sir, security, the peace and transmission of the community will be adequately achieved.
Thank you, Mr. Fashua. Well, after these two questions, we will take a very, very short break, about 2 minutes, and we'll be back with Face the Voter Initiative debate. Gentlemen, thank you very much for answering my first two questions and, of course, the follow-up questions. This debate will stand down for 2 minutes, then we will continue. Please stay with us, all of you who are watching on television, as well as anyone who is listening on radio, as well as everyone who is participating via online platforms. Indeed, this is the debate, the final session of the 2020 Ondo State Governorship debate. The election will hold on the 10th of October. That's barely 6 days away from now. Please stay with us. For staying with us on the Face the Voter Initiative debate, the final session of the debate for the 2020 Ondo State Governorship election. I'm pleased to welcome one of the party candidates who had been invited. I'd like to welcome Mr. Ital Jegede of the People's Democratic Party. Mr. Jegede, thank you very much. Welcome to the
Thank
debate.
you very much. May I also apologize for coming late. I had to go to see the AIG and the Commissioner of Police in respect of insistent attacks on our people and the destruction of our properties, my vehicles, campaign vehicles, and my billboards. And that has to do with security, and I had to go to the AIG and the CP to formally lodge a report. Thank you very much. I apologize to everybody here.
Thank you for eventually making it to this place. Well, incidentally, before you came in, we had dealt with the issues of leadership and security before you came in. But thank you very much all the same for joining us at this point. We move on quickly because we don't have all day. We move on quickly to the economy and human capital development. Of course, we all know that unemployment is one of the biggest challenges we have in Nigeria as a nation. So, very quickly, I begin with you on this with this question, Mr. Ichayo Jegede. How do you intend to deal with the problem of unemployment?
Let me start by saying that the major challenge we face in this country has to do with the employment of our youth. And we have to address all the sectors. I'll start with the agri sector. In the agri sector, you have only about a percentage or two feeding the whole of Americans and the developed world. In our country, or in Ondo State, you have over 70–80% of our people engaged in farming. The whole idea is to take a census for us, all our farmers, each and every one of them. Ask what their needs are and what they will need to increase their productivity. If, for instance, they are doing 10 hectares, you ask them what will it take to do 100 hectares. If you're having a tonnage of 5, what will it take to have a tonnage of 100 of maize, for instance? And the government will come to their rescue by providing all that is needed to increase productivity. In addressing this, you know that you have to first of all take charge of the food security. There will be food. Then secondly, a person that is cultivating 100 hectares will need additional hands. That is an area of employment. And the added value of this product will also serve our industries. We intend to create small-scale industries in the entire 18 local governments where they have comparative advantage. In doing that, we provide employment. And for instance, again, you have to involve the private sector. And I'll give an example. ShopRite, which is our baby, is an entirely a private sector experience. What we had there before was an hotel that was neither bringing in money or providing employment for our people. We got in the private sector to develop the place at their own cost, at no cost to government. And once it was concluded, that place now offered employment to numerous of our people. A small restaurant there, operated by one of our graduates, in economics, has now employed over 12 people. And you have that effect all over the place. Now the truth of it is that in all our sectors, tourism, industry, when you develop such areas, you create a platform for employment. What we intend to do is not to look for job seekers, but to have those who provide jobs. We want to develop entrepreneurs. All our young lads who are just leaving the university will be taught in the proper entrepreneurship spirit and given necessary assistance to enable them to start their own businesses and grow their own business. When they do that, they'll be able to employ additional hands. And that is the way to go. That is what we intend to do as a PDP government. And in all this, you need peace and security. It's very important. And because of a season like this, where you have insecurity all over the place, that is why we think we can bring something fresh on board to provide some peaceful environment, even for investors to come in. No investor is going to come to those things when you have gun-toting men all over the streets, shooting at our people and destroying vehicles. That's the point I think I was really making. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagede. Okay, well.